I'm Kenn Amdahl, and I make my living writing books. And the reason that, but they're not really science fiction, but I know a lot of people that come to these conferences also like scary books. And I write books on sort of scary subjects. One of my books was There Are No Electrons, Electronics for Earthlings. So electronics is kind of scary. And one of them is Algebra Unplugged, and obviously algebra is scary. And one was Calculus for Cats, and that's about calculus, which is also scary. I enjoyed it. One was called Joy Writing, and it's about the creative writing process, so that's about writing. One was called The Land of Debris and the Home of Alfredo, and that's sort of self-explanatory. At any rate, I make my living as a writer, not by being up in front of people. That's observation and precision. But now I want to go back to observation and reading forensically, reading like a writer. And we all think we read like writers, right? We all think we're pretty good readers and pay attention. How many of you have read Harry Potter? Any of the Harry Potter books? Okay, except for you, who I know have read my book. Didn't you think it was cool what she did with passive verbs? Wasn't that a genius way to use passive verbs? What? We don't remember it all. So I'll just tell you. When you are in the land of muggles, that is the non-magic world, she uses almost 100% passive verbs. Is, are, was, were, been, almost 100%. When you get on the train and you go to the land of Hogwarts, the magical world, where magic is possible, she shifts. It's almost always half active verbs and half passive verbs, almost all the time. When magic is actually happening, she uses almost 100% active verbs. Now, if you didn't notice that, you're not reading looking for clues of how to improve your own writing. But very few people do. We get caught up in the story and so forth. And if we're writers and we get caught up in the story, it's hard to illustrate this difference. So I thought, okay, maybe I could illustrate the difference between forensic observation and casual observation by taking us out of the world, the familiar world of writing, and into the world of music. Because musicians do the same thing. We are always looking to steal tricks. And so I thought this, how about if I do a song and I tell you in advance what tricks I'm going to use, and then you can observe it as if you were a guitarist looking to steal tricks. For some reason I got one of his favorite songs in my head, Joshua Fit the Battle of Jericho, but I didn't sing it. I mean, I never performed it, but I thought, okay, maybe I can do that one. So I thought, let's see if I remember how that goes. It went, Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, and the walls come tumbling down. You can talk about your great King David, you can preach about the wisdom of Saul. Ain't none of them beat old Joshua at the battle of Jericho. I got about that far, and I realized there's two problems with using that song. A, that's all I know of it. There's probably other verses, but Vince never sang them, so I don't know them. And second, it doesn't really illustrate any points. So it's got a couple strikes against it. Then I thought, it's a simple song. I can probably create an instrumental version that is, and employ specific guitar tricks. Tell you what the tricks are ahead of time. And then I'll play it, my own instrumental version of it, and you could be watching for those tricks the same way a guitarist would be watching another guitarist, even if he's not as good a guitarist. I mean, it's not a quality thing. It's just looking to steal tricks wherever you can. So, okay, I'll come up with some tricks. Well, one trick that I liked was the old blues guys used to drone bass. They just kept hitting with their thumb on that low note. I always liked that drone bass, so maybe we can use that. Maybe we can it'll sound different in this song, but it's kind of a cool trick. I thought, okay, how about Peter, Paul, Mary? Peter, Paul, Mary like to have an alternating bass like this. The thumb on the low strings is playing back and forth doing bass notes, and then with the fingers they play melody. Right? We can steal from Peter, Paul, and Mary. Now I thought, okay, as long as we're doing that alternating bass trick, how about stealing from Chet Atkins? Okay, Chet Atkins was an excellent guitar player, and he had a trick where when he wanted the notes to sustain, he'd squeeze down with his hand, left hand, and when he wanted them to muffle, he released it, so it muffles them. So on an individual notes, okay, so that's a little trick. We might be able to use that. Okay, how about we steal from accordion players? Okay, accordion players like to play a chord with the high strings and play the melody on the low notes. Maybe we could steal from accordion players. How about banjo players? They deserve to be stolen from, right? Now, banjo players. If you hit a chord just like that, that's just hitting a chord. If you're a classical player and you're playing one note at a time of that chord, you call it an arpeggio. If you're a banjo player and you get one note at a time like that, because the strings are so loose, you can do it quickly, and they call it a roll. It's a banjo roll. So we might be able to fit that in. We might not be able to get all these in. Then I thought, how about flamenco guitar players? And of course, you're way ahead of them. The rasguedo, right? We should steal the rasguedo, which is strumming down with your fingernails and then back up with your fingers. Rasguedo, right? Pretty cool. Then I thought, ooh, what would be cool is if we could steal from Johann Sebastian Bach to throw in there. Wouldn't that be cool? Okay, Bach's favorite thing was counterpoint. If a melody's going up, he wants the bass line to go down. If the melody's coming down, he wants the bass line to come up. I thought, well, this song's got a melody that goes up a lot. It goes, Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. Wouldn't it be cool if we could have a bass line that went down at the same time? Counterpoint, like something like, wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, it'd be cool, but it's not possible. You just have to know your limitations. So at any rate, we have all of these little tricks, and now you are a guitarist, and you have just walked into this bar. There's some clown up on there with this guitar, and you're probably a better guitarist, but still you have larceny in your heart. And so he's going to play Joshua Fit the Battle of Jericho, and you're going to be watching for tricks. One trick that I forgot is one that I invented, and that's using your pinky to muffle the strings. Invented that in the 60s. I think people have stolen it since then.